Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before I take this gun out on the range and show you guys a bunch of videos that I have coming up for this rifle, this is my Savage Axis XP that has been completely recustomized to become my new trainer rifle. This is now chambered in .223 Wyld. During the pandemic, the only round that was available, and this was actually my first rifle. There is one video on the channel of this rifle in its previous stock and barrel configuration. It was in 350 Legend, believe it or not. It was the only ammo that I could find. There was boxes and boxes of it on the shelves at Walmart, and so I said, well, that's just going to be my first rifle because I can't find anything else. Well, now we're in 2025 and ammo is a lot more readily available, and I've decided that I no longer like the cartridge. It's just not very accurate, especially at distance, and I've never really found a good load that shot it well. Since it has the same bolt diameter as the .223, I've decided to chamber this in .223 Wyld. That way it is able to shoot 5.56 and .223, but it has a little bit more precision than a normal 5.56 chamber. And I'm gonna go over this rifle with you guys real quick. So where should we begin? So let's go over the barrel real quick. The barrel is a Shaw barrel, 1 7 twist, .223 Wyld, 26 inches full bull bore barrel with a 7/8 by 24 threading. The reason why I picked this threading is simply because Eric Cortina, he had these benchrest brakes. This is the EC tuner brake. Essentially, it came 7/8 by 24. It's a benchrest brake. He was simply, in my opinion, he was pretty much throwing them away for the price that he was selling them for on sale. I think because it's an odd thread count and a diameter, there wasn't enough people to buy them, so I got it for 30 bucks a piece. So I got two of them. Normally they go for about 210. So, and there's a big plus to this too, in my opinion. It keeps the end of the .223, or it keeps the end of the barrel much thicker. It prevents it from overheating. 1/2 by 28 is quite thin, but the only downside about that is that I won't be able to put on a normal suppressor. But that's totally fine. I don't plan on suppressing it, at least not right now. If I need to, I'll lop it off and rethread it. But let's go with the scope. The scope is a Discovery Optics. It is a 5-25. It is the ED-PRS 5-25. It has a 0 stop. Must not have it set. Yep, don't have it set. On top, so barrel. So on top of this rig, we have the Discovery Optics ED-PRS 5-25 by 56 with 30mm tube. Nice giant turrets on here. Absolutely love it. I love the oversized turrets, especially if it gets wet or windy, or if it gets wet mostly. I can grab onto this thing and it's gonna turn. I don't have to worry about pulling the cap up and turning it, pushing it back down, none of that. The bolt is super smooth. I've ran this thing maybe 500 times, so at this point I have no problem with this bolt. They do come a little bit tight out of the factory, but it's a lot smoother now. The bolt head is actually an oversized bolt handle. It is from Glade's Armory. I really like this bolt because since it's oversized, it's a little bit easier to grab onto, and it's a little bit longer than the normal Savage Axis, so there's a little bit more leverage there. So as you guys know, if you guys have ever shot Savages, you know how horrendous this bolt lift is. So essentially from the bottom up to about here is pretty easy typically. But once you hit the top, you can hear that, right? I hope you guys can hear that. You essentially hit a wall, and that's where the the bolt is engaging the cocking mechanism, and once it finally hits the top, it'll finally cam over and lock the firing pin, so that way when you pull the trigger it fires. With this bolt lift kit, with this bolt lift kit from Desh Industries, it makes this a lot easier. In combination with the Desh Industries bolt lift kit and the long oversized bolt handle, it makes this it makes the opening of the chamber super easy, and it makes it much easier to cycle rounds. It was actually quite hard to keep your head inside the scope because every time you would lift, it would kind of cam the rifle off to the side and make it difficult for you to to have a good cheek weld and to keep your eye on the scope. So that was a huge upgrade to this rig. I did that actually early when I had my 350 Legend, because I just hated how difficult it was to open. Minor one is this pick rail. This is a Monstrum, I think Monstrum Tactical, I'm not sure. It's just a cheap Monstrum. It has flathead screws. I'm thinking about getting hex head screws or the star bit shape, because I'm not too sure whether they have a good enough connection. I didn't want to over tighten these because, you know, with flathead screws, it's so easy to ruin them, and then I'll never get this rail off, and I don't want to have to drill into it. Now let's go with one of the biggest parts. We got the Oryx chassis. I kind of want to do a separate review on this Oryx chassis. I gotta say, I love it. I absolutely love it. I would prefer this over the field stock any day. I think if you're gonna save up another $100, you should get this. I really do. I think it's a superior product to the field stock. I've shot the field stock with my 1022. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know. I like this one a lot better. Mostly the cheek pad. It's a lot more rounded, whereas in the field stock, it has a really sharp shoulder to it. So it's kind of uncomfortable for your cheek. But otherwise, the other one is a good stock too, don't get me wrong. The only thing that I am disappointed about this this chassis, if you will, is that it doesn't come with M-LOK. Of course, you can get the what is it? Of course, you can get the plates for it, but it would have been a little bit nicer if they would have came with it. I kind of understand why they didn't do that. I think if they added the M-LOK, it would put it too close to the price range of their LRS. I might be wrong about that. But there's another one that looks very similar, but it has M-LOK on the sides, and I think that might be why they did it. They didn't want to over-compete with one of their other rifle chassis, so they left it bare, but they gave you the option to essentially upgrade. And there's a lot of upgradable parts on this too. I love the aluminum goes from the front to, I think it comes to right about here. There is some plastic. A lot of this is plastic inside of here. Of course, this is plastic. But yeah, otherwise, I really like the rifle. It shoots flawlessly. It shoots like a 1022 with this brake, the heavy barrel, and the whole gun being extra heavy. It shoots phenomenally. I think this is a Codwell bipod, nothing special. But yeah, hope you guys like this review. Oh, one thing that I did almost forget is the trigger. I actually decreased the trigger tremendously. I don't have an actual gauge, but just shooting firearms a lot, I can tell that this is probably either a 1 to 1.5 pound trigger at this point. Essentially, I cut the coils I think you can still find this on YouTube, because there is videos out there of people cutting the springs on these before it was against their policy. So it is still up on YouTube. Essentially, you cut the coils where the hammer pushes down in order to release the sear, and you just cut that up, or like a coil, like half a coil at a time, until you get to where you like it. Otherwise, there are actually kits that just sell the spring, and you just completely replace the spring. I decided to cut it, and I said if I screw it up, I'll just buy the extra spring. But that will completely reduce this, and the good thing about it, it is clear, okay? There's nothing inside. I'll just, like, it's, there is no movement in that trigger. Oops, that's how light it is. There is no movement in this trigger. With lightening the trigger spring, you don't get any movement. It's still a single stage, which is amazing. I was worried that it might transition it to a two-stage where it has some play. It absolutely has no play in it. It works flawlessly. But I think that is it for the rifle. I do have this little spongy thing. That's just for my Radar Labs trigger system. Slap it on there. When the gun fires, it tells the lab radar to read the velocity of anything available. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Definitely a bunch of videos gonna come up soon with me shooting this rifle, and we're gonna be doing some load data. Hopefully we can do some ballistics gel. I'm thinking about getting some ballistics gelatin and making it myself at home, and we're going to be testing some other things out on the channel. So if you guys like this, please subscribe if you like it, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks.